Right?
I don't think he's coming. But Ben, when Ben gets here, we're gonna have to postpone it. Because it doesn't look like he got everything on time.
I'm ready. I can play it right now. Don't need to see that. This.
That was his thing. I missed it.
Oh, yeah. And I think they put the other guys, they take you down the stairs. I thought
Everybody, we're gonna get started tonight with our workshop. Everybody ready? All right. All right, to start things off, the first is the budget modification. Everybody get a chance to look at them?
Yes. Turned it off. Sorry. Yes.
Any questions?
Oh, it's just parts right here. No.
Okay.
Straightforward.
Yep.
That's-
Number two, the due process hearing for 20 Old Turnpike Road, unsafe building. Actually, I'm gonna let Ben talk about this a little bit before we get going.
Right now.
Yeah, we might as well talk about it in the workshop.
Our local law requires us to give notice 5 days prior to the due process hearing. Even though we mailed the notice on May 10, it wasn't received until May 17, which is only 4 days ago. And then we also personally served the notice at the street address. And Spring Valley, at a small building, which turned out to be a law office. And the process server did serve a lawyer in that office, who I assume was related to the property owner, but I don't know that. And that was only 6 days ago. And therefore, I recommended to Mike that, we hold the hearing tonight, but keep it open for 2 weeks. And to renotice, just to be sure that we've given the proper notice, since the board might end up ordering the demolition of the building.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on that, guys? No. All right. Next, the public hearing for the highway superintendent. I mean, that's kind of self-explanatory. We're just gonna listen to what people have to say tonight. Property management code. Everybody get a chance to look at this?
Yep.
One of the things that we don't have is a cost per violation. It's something that we're gonna have to come up with. I was thinking probably at least $500 per violation. For residential.
It needs to wake people up.
Right,
By
right.
that, by the time they respond, it's time.
Yeah. So just to let the public know, it's springtime. Everybody's lawns are getting out of control. Our past local law, we're just making some amendments to it, is that, we would violate them. They get back to us. It goes on for a long time. They don't get the lawn mowed. This is going to give them a certain amount of time. They're going to get a due process of 7 days to contact the supervisor and one other councilman to tell us what the problem is. And then if they can't get it done in a certain amount of time, what we'll do is we're going to put them out to bid, but we'll hire a lawn care service and probably also do the garbage if nobody's picking up their garbage. So we will hire somebody like that. And then every time we have a situation, we'll send, after the 7 days and their due process, we'll send that landscaper out to mow the lawn, and then it will go on their tax bill. Same with the garbage. If you don't clean it up in a certain amount of time and they don't give us a rhyme or reason why, then we'll send this landscaping crew to go clean it up, or even a regular business, whoever wants to take on the process. And, then we'll charge them the amount and then put it on their tax bill. So next year, then we're not worried about all the time this high grass. Driving all over the town, there's tons of people that don't even have their lawn mowed once this year, and it's getting kind of high. So that's part of the town of Mammoth amendment of the property management code, which will be posted after the board approves it tonight. Any other questions on that, guys? No? Okay. Next, tree work for hazardous trees in the town. We're gonna put this out to bid, tonight. What this is we have a lot of dangerous trees throughout the whole town. Last year, if you come to a lot of the meetings, they were, a lot of people came to us and said that, there's a lot of dangerous trees that the electric company isn't taking down because it's not on their side. And then we're having issues with trees falling in the road and everything like that. So we're putting money aside to hire this, a tree crew. We got to put it out to bid first. That will, take care of all the dead trees. Now, the process we're doing is, we're putting it out for a day rate. So they're going to give us a day rate on a bucket and a man. And then the highway department will clean up the trees and clean up the brush behind them. And if it's on a busy road, then we will also do the flagging. But this needs to be done because there's a lot of dangerous trees in the town. So we're going to put away like $30,000. And then, like I said, put it out to bid. And if we can get 10 to 15 days out of this tree company, I think we'll get a pretty good run on all the dangerous trees. Tom Morrow, the highway superintendent, he will go around and mark all these trees and put some on priority, and some of them that aren't so bad, they'll be at the bottom of the list. But that's what we're gonna do with that tonight. Anybody have any questions on that? Well, I mean, if the person that lives next to it says, hey, leave it here, I'm sure they'll leave it there unless they got to pick up. But, yeah, I mean, other than that, then we're going to clean it up. So. All right. Vehicle and equipment surplus. We got some stuff that's not being used. The highway department, with a couple of their new trucks, they're getting rid of, a truck that's been a problem for them in the past, but it still runs pretty good. So they're doing a dump truck, and then town hall, we have a Jeep that hardly ever gets used. That's kind of just rusting away in the parking lot. So we're gonna, before it gets too bad, we're gonna auction that off too. And then we also have an extra mower at the town park that doesn't get used anymore either. So we're gonna surplus all them and see how we make out on Auction International. No sense of having them just laying around. So, anybody have any questions on that? No. The HUD account. Last month we closed that HUD account. Talking to the accountant, because it's federal funds that we got originally, we really need to keep it separate from everything else. So she recommended to keep it in a HUD account, but we can use it for buildings that need stuff in the town, like the Art Alliance needs a new roof. The Meek's gonna need a new roof. So that money that we have in there will be able to take care of those two projects. Well, maybe one, because the slate roof on the Arts Alliance building is very expensive. Peter's looked at it a couple times. We'd like to keep it the way it is because it's a pretty old building. But it all depends on how much it's going to cost. Peter's looking into the cost of that. So that's why we're going to just keep it in that account for now, the HUD account, based on what the accountant said. All right, next is building department software. So recently we found out that, our software in the building department is gonna be outdated. We got 3 new prices for, software. We're probably gonna go back to the company that we had, but it costs some money. So we're just gonna tonight approve the software of the new, software for the building department. Actually, the price isn't on there. But it's in the range of like $20,000 for the software. And then last but not least, we're gonna have a discussion among ourselves now, but when we get to public comment, if anybody else has any comments about this too. Route 17, the discussion about closing exit 114. I'm gonna let Matt talk a little bit more about this. He was at the meeting. So I just wanted to, we figured we'd have a discussion tonight and some of the things that the board is willing to do moving forward. Matt, you want to take it from there?
Recently, I attended one of the open house style meetings that the New York State Department of Transportation held. They held 2 in Walk Hill, 1 in Central Valley. I went to the one in Central Valley. Let me take a step back. Prior to that, on May 10th, we had a Zoom meeting that myself and Peter Goodman attended with NISTOT and some of the Pell engineers and representatives, I-86 conversion people, and we were surprised that they had submitted a letter of intent on April 30th that with the added paperwork attached to that letter of intent was a chart showing the closure of exit 114. When prior to this last meeting, it was on hold for further study. Well, I guess they had that further study and they decided once again to close the exit. At the meeting, I talked with various people at representing NISTOT, and what they said to me was that the community hasn't made a compelling argument to keep exit 114 open. Bloomingburg has. 115 will be retained and expanded and updated. But 114 would be closed. And some of the comments were, if you had a stopwatch and you went to exit 113 to get to Worksboro instead of 114, it would only take you 2 to 3 more minutes of our time to get to the village. I reminded him that we are the beneficiary in the village of a lot of traffic headed towards Ellenville that would take 114, and that would force people to be exposed to our Sullivan Street, Main Street businesses, and that would be taken away from us, and that would be very hurtful to our local economy. That's pretty much how we left it. I was a little teed off at the stopwatch comment. Took the gentleman to task, and I said, you know, a stopwatch measures time, but it doesn't measure the effort and that people put in over the years to build up their businesses on Sullivan Street. So when I came back from the meeting, I talked to Supervisor Robbins and Councilman Goodman, and we put together some petitions. I feel that for whatever reason, our voices aren't being heard as NISTOT, and we should really give it another try and let them know how important this is to our economy, and we don't want to become another Parksville. And also, I reminded him of the safety factor. A lot of commercial traffic heading to Ellenville already uses Rosa Gap and Shavana Lodge as a shortcut. If they get rid of exit 114, do you think they're going down to 113? No, it's just gonna increase more use on our town roads, increase our tax bills to maintain these roads. And these roads are through residential areas. This is a bona fide safety factor. So that's what I got, was the stopwatch argument. So I'm asking everybody in the community that has some skin in the game or is concerned about the future of Wordsboro's commercial liability to speak up, write their representatives, write the folks at NISBOT, sign our petitions, and let's show them that we have some power and we have some community, and we can be a force to be reckoned with. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. And like I said, we'd like to see these petitions out all over the village, you know, and all the businesses, because it affects a lot of the businesses. We did a bunch tonight. We can get more. You know, we have some tonight for anybody that's here that wants to start signing it, so we have them. Peter's also doing a letter to the representatives of the highway guys, and you know, we're gonna send that in too, from the board. So we're pushing this, that we don't want it closed. It's a big thing also for the emergency vehicles on top of the mountain too. We always end up needing a way off if there's a lot of traffic. If there's an accident or a car fire or whatever, we've always been stuck without another way of getting off the top of the mountain. So this would be a big blow to us. So like I said, the whole board's in favor of this, of trying to get this done, and you know.
If we have till May 30th. I asked for an extension of the comment period because of the fact that we weren't truly notified properly as liaisons to for Manicating to the conversion, the scheme. I felt that it was underhanded, that this was just written up in legal journals, and we weren't emailed for notification. So I'm asking for at least a 1 week extension. And we're not the only ones that are requesting this. There are other groups in this situation that are asking for an extension.
I see some local business people out there. A few weeks ago, a couple meetings ago, Fred Harding came and spoke when we were talking about putting the signs out for the farmer's market. And one of the things he stressed was visibility. How many times somebody drives by something before it registers in their mind that the farmer's market's there. If you pass the sign, you know, it takes like 7 times. We're talking about a road, they're going to be driving by your business. They're going to be going by all these stores. And it's not just a shortcut someplace else. After a while, it's like, hey, there's some great delis, there's great gift shops, there's nice coffee shops, there's all kinds of stuff. And the more often people are driving down that way, the more they're reminded. I think Wordsboro, the village is doing fantastic. I mean, there's a lot of really, really neat businesses in there. And we need to go out there. And part of the process of deciding what exits get closed has to do with the economic impact that it has on your neighborhood. And then that's something that should be stressed, is like, this is going to have a huge negative impact when we start shuttling traffic away from it. As Matt said, you know, if you look at what happened with Parksville, the highway cut past it, you know, and if you go through there right now, it's a town that barely exists. It's a ghost town. It's a ghost town. And that's the last thing in the world that we want to see here. I mean, the village is doing so well right now. We need to keep enforcing that and keep the traffic shuttled down and make it easier for people to get there and patronize some of these businesses. Your help would be very much wanted and needed.
Anybody else have any comments or? Yep.
Can we put something on our website?
Yes. Yep. We will, once we get, through tonight, we'll have everything on the website for this. All right, so we'll move on to the business meeting. Stood to the flag, please.
Like allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, liberty and with which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I pretty much recognize everybody here, so I'm sure that guy isn't here from Old Turnpike, right? Nobody's here? Okay. So based on Ben's recommendation, we're gonna,
Let's open the hearing.
okay. All right, can I have a motion to open the hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Matt. Second by Peter. All in favor?
Aye.
Now, is that also?
No, it's not a public hearing. Okay, and nobody's here to comment. As I stated earlier, the board's going to continue this on June 4 at 6 p.m. Okay.
All right, all in favor? Okay. Next is, we're gonna go to public hearing of the local law highway superintendent for the office of 4 years. Any public comment? Or anybody that has anything to say about it? Yeah, we'll do that on, the next one. Chris. So anything on the 4 year, we're switching the 4 year term for the highway superintendent from a 2 year to a 4 year. Some of our reasoning why was, he has to come up with a lot of plans and everything like that, for trucks and roads and everything else. And a 2 year plan, it just, a highway superintendent every 2 years, it's tough to come up with stuff. So, Tommy's really doing a great job, and, the board's in favor of changing it to a 4 year term. So,
Can I comment about that too?
hold on one second. Go ahead, Dave.
That's just something the board has carte blanche to just go ahead and do?
Board approves the local law, it's subject to a mandatory referendum in November.
Yeah, the public will get the vote on it.
Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to comment that there's a true advantage to having some continuity, especially on the capital side of purchasing and planning for equipment. So I just think it's probably long overdue.
Thanks, Sean. All right, next is, Brittany, do you have anybody online that would like to speak on the local law?
I don't.
Okay. All right, next we'll go to public comment for any. Oh, all right. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Motion by John, second by Matt. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, guys. Next is, public comment, 3 minutes each individual, 30-minute max for anything that was on the work session. Go ahead, Chris.
No problem against it. I just thought if you're going to get somebody in there periodically to clean up the mowing, miscellaneous stuff like that, is that person, looking in a crystal ball, going to have some kind of issue that because he might be in some position to get into some conflict with the homeowner, the property owner, and I don't
Yes.
have an answer to that. Just something, I'm not trying to be negative, but it sounds that way.
No, it happens. In other townships, it happens, but because it's a local law, then you can send the police with them, and then they have no say, the residents.
I just was curious that one of the landscapers gets out word with all this stuff pretty soon. It's nothing can get done because they don't want to get involved with any issues.
Well, yeah, it's something that they're gonna have to know before they take the bid. Yeah. Good.
One, I want to thank the town for, the town board for getting on board with the issue of the closure of 114. I mean, it's like super important to a lot of folks in this town. Not only for safety, but for business and also for the convenience, for people who live on Sharonda Lodge, Horton Road, et cetera, when they're, going home or coming to Worksboro, whatever it happens to be. The other thing, it's not on the agenda, wasn't on the work session, but I also want to thank the board for their involvement and implementation of the VFW banner program. It's very much appreciated.
And just to give a heads up too, we just got a whole bunch more today. So we'll be putting up, hopefully we'll get them up before Memorial Day. I'm hoping.
Great,
But-
thank you.
Yep. Okay, anybody else on anything?
of town of Mankato, but I am a business owner in town of Mankato. So with my husband, we have Jerry's Collision. We're right on Sullivan Street. I've been very active with the Worksboro Board of Trade for the years that we've been there. And to give a shout out to that organization, they do a lot to try to increase foot traffic in the village. And it does have a big impact with keeping us alive, keeping us vital. People find us. Street fair, as much as, is kind of a double-edged sword. Not everybody loves that. It does make people find us. You can say what you like about the inconvenience of the day, but people do find us and they come back, and they know, hey, this is Worksboro. It's a great place, so it is important for there to be foot traffic in the village, and I appreciate very much that the town recognizes that and that you're willing to fight for us. I do have some questions about how that goes, though. Is this really a state-run decision? Or is this more of a federal decision in that this is a transition to the interstate? And so should we be focusing just on state people, or should it be federal level people as well? I don't know if anybody knows
It
that.
is a little bit of both, right, Matt? Because they're going to an interstate, that I'm sure the federal regulations are involved in this. But we get everything from the state. Everything correspondence that we get are from the state.
We will have some contacts, at least one contact, if not more, for the Federal Highway Administration. There is a Mr. Marquis that is in the letter of intent as a person to contact in regards to any comments. As Mike said, it is a joint effort between the Federal Highway Administration and New York State Department of Transportation. And so I would say our state representatives, Senator Overacker, Aileen Gunther, and the folks at NISTOC, they all got to hear us. So this
Yeah,
isn't- I know it seems like
it is a lot.
an uphill slog.
Yeah.
but,
They kind of overwhelm you even in the meetings, because we'll get on, the three of us have gone on in the past,
Yeah.
and there's 7, 8 people from all over, and they all have different parts of this, and
Oh, okay.
yeah. And then they had a thing at West Warren on the 15th, right? It was on the 15th.
Okay.
Down in Walk Hill that they did a big thing. And then like Matt said, he went to the one in Central Valley.
Couple of points I'd like to add to what you had said before, though, regarding safety concerns. This is a unique situation because we have the mountain. There are multiple times during the winter when there are tragic accidents up there that completely block off traffic. So it's not unusual in those kind of conditions for me to just look out the window and understand that there's an accident up there because all of the traffic's been diverted right through Wordsboro. If people don't have that opportunity to dive off and to take that as a detour, it leaves people bunched up there till what? When is the last exit gonna be now if they're gonna, close so many, right? So
Yeah.
it becomes a safety concern from that perspective as well. And summertime traffic, it does get to be, accidents for that. It's not just about icing conditions, heavy traffic conditions. We have a lot of issues up there too. Really not unusual for traffic to be diverted in that direction. So as a safety let off, it needs to be there for that kind of reason too, to relieve that pressure.
Well, one of the things that they did say that they wouldn't like rip it up, but they would put a gate there. So in case of emergency, they talked about maybe having it, but we got a timeline, like they're not even thinking about getting started until like 2026. So who knows how far this is gonna last, I mean, it came up 4 years ago. And
Yeah.
before then, it came up in 2005 and 2013. And, so it's been a long process,
But
but
one of these times it is going to be final.
all of
you
a
know,
sudden,
one of these
yes.
Times, it
Yeah.
is.
And that's
The
why,
notice of intent was, to talk about the upcoming environmental impact statement that will be
Mhm.
generated. And that will become, that'll be a done deal in sometime in August of 2025.
Mhm.
And pretty much that's when the rubber hits the road. That's when the final decisions have been made. And
Yeah.
any changes would be hard fought.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah. The unintended consequences of those closures will have devastating impacts for the downtown community though. And, that's your revenues too. Once our businesses start closing and we can't maintain because we're not getting that foot traffic, all of a sudden there's no sales tax revenue. There's no support. And you also have additional expenses because now you've got more traffic on your roadways that you've got to maintain because we were diverted from up there. That you're going to have much more traffic on your minor roads, which is actually the direct opposite of why that road went in the beginning. Right? It was put in to make traffic be more efficient, to make there be less congestion, to make road maintenance be more efficient and get it off of the secondary roads. And now it's a full reversal. So I would hope we could convince them.
yeah. And just to give you a heads up on the sales tax part, I
Mhm.
mean, it ain't for us. The county pretty much gets it all. And actually right now, all the supervisors in the county are fighting to
Yeah.
get some.
We have county roads too.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying,
They'll be driving.
even
those too.
like the village doesn't get anything. So I mean, we're actually, as all the supervisors in the county are trying to get some sort of revenue share
Mhm.
because like for the village of Wurtsboro, they would get a revenue share would help the village
Surely.
tremendous.
Mhm.
And right now the county's kind of keeping it all, but we're working on doing something to get everybody a share of the revenue tax.
Thank you.
What I'd encourage everybody, so the last time we were doing this about 3 years ago and we put the petitions together, we had about 3 weeks and we got close to 1,000 signatures. At that juncture, they had pretty much said, they're gonna close. They're gonna close 115, they're gonna close 114. And we got the signatures up to them. And then after that, the sessions that we've had several of them at this point, municipalities. And they had changed it, and it says, okay, we don't know what we're doing with 114. It's still we're looking at it and making a decision. Which is why it really caught me off guard on the last session that they said, oh, well, it's slated to be closed. The signatures make a difference. I think they hear you. So it's not in vain writing these letters saying that you're not going to pay any attention to us. It could make a difference if we push that economic viability of it.
We're working on the petitions. We're sharing them as a group. We've got them in our shops. We are working on that. I've only got a page and a half, but I'm on it.
We also have it at the town hall. Anybody that wants to come to the clerk's office or something like that.
It's here, Memorial Day. I've been putting out the flags and it's been a chore. Our grass situation and growth and everything in the cemeteries is also needs to be done before our committee starts. Memorial Day is for those who have fallen. Okay? Not for the veterans. That needs to be understood. These are the guys who actually died while in service. That's what Memorial Day is. And yes, we have them here in Mamakating. As I'm cleaning the cemeteries and cleaning the stones, I'm finding George H. Maston in Sylvan and Chester A. Stanton Cemetery died at the taking of Fort Fisher during the Civil War. Jacob Maston, Jacob Sarine. So many of these names that these families are still here. So please keep in mind that this is Memorial Day for those who gave all. Thank you.
Thanks, Brianna. All right, anybody else for anything from the workshop or work session? Well, go ahead.
Jason, just opened a business recently.
Could you just put this up?
Oh, sorry. My name is Jason. I just recently opened a business in town on Sullivan Street. I'm glad everyone's basically in support of finance. My question then in regard to that is, what is the main reason from their perspective that they see that this should be closed? Meaning, what's the, I mean, what are we fighting against? Is it just a money thing to them? And as long as they see it has value, they would keep it, or is it just or is it like other things to them, like safety or upgrading it to federal standards and things like that? Like, what are their concerns is my question.
I feel they haven't really clearly stated why they want to close it. And so I'm gonna stick my neck out and make an assumption that it's money. It's the least of it's the least completed of the incomplete interchanges. I wouldn't know any other reason other than finances. Unfortunately, if they do remove that exit, that'll leave the longest stretch of I-86 without an exit running in our town.
Right. I mean, we're all in agreement. I'm wondering what it is, why they see it that way, if they gave some reason, but I'm glad to know they didn't, and that we just need to advocate, hopefully.
So it's not safety. Everybody knows exit 120s. I mean, every weekend something happens down there between field and exit 120. It's not safety. I don't think they dislike this. I don't think it's personal.
Right.
Matt, do you think it could be a cookie cutter thing where you're only supposed to have X amount of exits? Would it be some rule they set up arbitrarily?
I think they bend the rules to meet their goals. I mean, I don't want to talk this out of saving exit 115, but they have a rule that these exits shouldn't be closer than a mile apart from each other. But, here you have 17K and exit 115 are probably about a half mile apart. Also, there's regulations published by the Federal Highway Administration regarding highway access that when they inherit an age system into their system, they will make exceptions if the intersections aren't quite up to their standards because it's an already existing highway, but nobody wants to talk about that at the meetings. So.
And Matt's right on the price of it, because they say that when they have an exit, it needs to be an on and off on both sides. I mean, on 14, it's in a rock cut. So I mean, the amount of money that they'd have to come up with to have an on and off ramp on the east side, the eastbound side, be astronomical, I'm sure. So, Matt's probably right. It's more of a money thing because they don't want to put the money into keeping something like that.
I will say this, there's no demolition component really to talk about in regards to trying to upgrade this exit. You look at some of these other exits, 115, the on-ramp eastbound, that entrance ramp is very short, and if you lengthened it, you go right into a bridge above. So something's gonna have to be done with that bridge. And so these reconfigurations isn't just about building, it's about destroying before you build. And we wouldn't have much of that up there.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Lori.
Actually, that was my question. That it's great that we're having the signatures to show the community support for not closing it, but it might also help us if we could figure out what the reason was, that we could specifically say, hey, you were wrong about this, you were wrong about that. And then John actually brought up the next point, which was, do we know that there aren't any sort of federal or state regulations that require things such as exits can't be more than X feet apart or X miles apart, it can't be any closer, so they had them both answered.
Thanks, Lord.
Don't forget, guys, during a conversion in Orange County, they got rid of 118A and 117. Those were similar, ramps getting off like that. So I think it does have to do with the length of how you can exit and enter. They changed all the exits in Orange County.
We can also.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
So my name's Travis Ogden and I own and run Crystal Connection here in the village, along with Tim Bracci. I've been here for about 9 years and I know Crystal Connection has been started in 2008. I've personally seen the village in this area grow in a really wonderful way. And Tim and I are all about growing the community and bringing as many people into this area for tourism, supporting the village in any way that we can. We put a billboard on the highway that says exit 114 to come off. We have a billboard next to SPCA coming exit, I think it's 112. So we're doing everything we can to bring more support into the village. It would be really devastating, and I'm sure as I hear you're in support of it, to cut out 114, it's like, it makes my head spin because all that traffic that we have seen grow into Wurtsboro would be non-existent, except for people maybe going in Bloomingburg, coming all the way through Bloomingburg into Wurtsboro, but that's quite a hike. So to see that gone, and then the amount of traffic then where all of our people coming to see us with overflow into the village would be 113. And then everyone's coming into Ellenville. So this 209 would be even more congested. So everyone's coming in through 114 to have that detour. It really allows flexibility. So I just wanted to put my 2 cents in. Tim couldn't be here because I know he wanted to say something as well.
Okay.
But yeah, just we're in total support. So my one question is, what type of signatures, is there a type of signature that's better than another?
This is a non-political petition.
Well, what I mean, of people living in Wurtsboro versus non-living,
Doesn't matter.
doesn't matter. Okay.
I think actually it'd be beneficial if you get your customers from out of town to sign.
Yeah. Because we
So
could
get
fill up-
anybody that you can.
Pardon?
Get anybody that you can.
All right, I'll do that.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
The 30th. 9 days. Go ahead, Chris.
I said this before and I may be getting tired of it. I've been around here a little bit longer than the damn Quickway was here. When the Quickway was basically right through Wurtsboro. There is no way, I ought to preface this because Matt does a great job at talking, but I just get round right up because I don't see the reason for this, not one iota, because it's political. As Peter just said there about the Parksville thing. There was no public opinion that was going to change. Let's take that light out of there and let's blow this whole place apart. And now the Parksville doesn't have those nice on and off ramps that don't meet somebody's specifications. And look what's happened there. Going towards Middletown on Old 17, some of you can remember there's the old feed store that's on the right. And a little ways past that, you'll see a little camper trailer that's there. There used to be a house in that little section. And right next to that was an exit ramp. So they took that out and left it like, I guess a bunch of us got pissed off because it became a great big breeding ground for mosquitoes. It was a great big puddle that was just left there. And from the time, I don't know if actually, it cost about $1 million to fill that in. And I think it popped in hindsight. I haven't heard not one bit about our legislator, Nick Salamone. I haven't heard his word. I haven't seen him. I haven't heard. Is he with us? Is he, what planet is he on?
I know he was at the meeting.
What meeting?
And West Warren
When?
and Town of Walko.
Okay.
But yeah, he's talked to them also. He's been on it from what he tells me. So he's been working.
Because there's a lot of rubbernecking of his people on the other end of business and definitely want this up there for all of the Mark Baez's and the Sullivan County Business Association. So you've got a lot of that movement there is in total dire. We need it, says they. We're up in that end of the woods. All right, so Nick's been involved somewhat, because I never heard, never see him here, nothing. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Chris. Anybody else have anything? Go ahead.
Hi, my name's Sarah. I'm also one of the vendors on Sullivan Street. I run Brothers Vintage and Variety and am a manager at the new Basha Kill Bazaar. And I want to thank you for bringing this to our attention. There are a lot of us vendors that really want to be involved in this fight. Ready to put petitions in our businesses, as you said, signage. There's a lot more that we feel like we can do, and we'd really want to get involved. So I guess my question here is like, what's our next best step? How do we get the petitions in our shop? You know,
We'll hand you some tonight. And then, like I said, on the 30th or before the 30th, we bring them back to the town hall. We'll collect them and get them to who they need to go to.
okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. Anybody else? No? Brittany, you have anybody online?
Yes, H. Zaman would like to speak.
Okay. Hello?
How you doing? Thanks for bringing this to our attention now. I mean, I wish we had had a little bit more time. So, I'm curious what you guys can do on the administrative side. I know on our side, we're gonna, hustle like hell. I know Peter, we're first responders. So that exit is critical to faster response times, getting back from the hospital to the EMT squad. The local businesses, I mean, this is the heart of our town, right? Würzboro is really where all of the beautiful businesses we have are originating. So I think it sounds like everybody that lives here, everybody that's works here is gonna fight like hell for this, but we have 9 days. And is there anything you guys can do? I mean, I know the gentleman said, where's Nick Salama? What is it that you guys can do to help us push this through on the government side? Thank you for supporting it.
Thank you. I will say that every correspondent that they send to us, Matt hasn't missed a meeting. Peter hasn't missed a meeting. I just missed the last meeting. So we've been on this since they let us know when they come back around. Chris as a resident has been very involved in this. He goes to all the meetings. So, I mean, we're doing the best we can. So that's really all I got to say on that. Our hands are kind of tied too, but we're trying our hardest. And like I said, Matt and Peter have, ran with this since the very beginning. So even before we got elected, they were involved. So, they're very involved in this.
They invite municipalities for everybody to go to the impact, which is both 113 over down to 130. And town of Mankato has been very well represented quite often. There's very few other people out there. And we've had a big voice, and the three of us have all chimed in when they're asking the questions and kind of thought on our end. We've advocated time and time again, saying really important to us to actually protect them. Primarily, the state position, several months coming into it, but the state is going to end up making the decision. But as I said before, I believe that your signature, numbers, voters, people that are out in the community now will make a difference. So if we can turn around flood them with a ton of petitions and signatures, that's what we can do. There's not an awful lot more. We can let the government get back this, and we don't want to see that disappear. So.
Thanks, Peter.
And write letters.
Yep. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Brittany, you have anybody else?
I believe Jean might like to speak.
Who?
Jean?
Jean? Okay. Hello? No, nothing, Brittany?
She was asking if, she says apologies if she missed it, but if there was anything that residents could do to help keep it open.
Well, we're, like I said, support the petitions and contact your state representatives and everything else, write letters and stuff like that.
And we will have these names and addresses on our website.
Yeah, we will be posting everything to write letters. Okay, you have anybody else, Brittany?
I don't.
Okay. Moving on to Highway Superintendent Report.
So I'll just make my public comment as part of the beginning of my report. So as I understand it, the state needs to adhere to federal regulations in order for that piece of road to be deemed an interstate. So then they could receive federal funds to help maintain it, is about the gist of it. I don't even know that it's just, that I don't even think that's gonna work anyway. You go on 84, Danbury, which has 100,000 cars a day, it looks like a bomb went off. I don't think we're gonna see federal money any faster than we're gonna see any more state money, so I don't know that it's that prudent that the state look into this as a possible revenue idea. I don't see how the federal government's gonna deem Wardsboro to Parksville more important than Danbury to Scranton on that interstate. And all we're gonna get out of it is less for our tax money, a lost exit. So maybe that's what we also need to tell our elected representatives on those levels is, you're looking for a way to get money to fix the road, that's great, but are they gonna give you that money? How fast are you gonna see that money? And in the meantime, we're just gonna have lost another little bit of service. So I don't see where it gains us a thing. That sign that says Future 86 has been there since 2005. So even with all this talking, who knows when this is actually gonna kick off? Cause they sure don't, you know what I mean? So that's my thing on 84. So, or 86, but my comparison was to 84. We're continuing to mow. Both mowers are on the road. I have a meeting scheduled tomorrow with a few members of the Bashkill Area Association to discuss some issues they had with us mowing on Haven Road. So hopefully we get that squared away. Been in pretty decent contact with Mary Allison Farley and a few of myself and a few of those members. I'll meet tomorrow. Still going around trying to fix the potholes from the winter damage, and hopefully we'll be done with that soon so we can get Maine to getting ready to resurface the roads on our 284 plan. And just for those that don't know, there's a small bridge on Godfrey Road past Old Rosa Gap that we had to close after an inspection, recognized serious deterioration. We called in the town engineer and they concurred that it needed to be shuttered. So we immediately closed the bridge. So there is a little bit of a closed road there on Godfrey. I'm hoping in the immediate future, we'll get a couple big plates, something where we can at least get a lane open for vehicular traffic. There is a sidewalk right there for any pedestrian traffic, so that shouldn't be hindered. But we are working to get that done quickly because the actual repair, which will be probably like a box culvert, is going to be a more, long-term summer, end of summer thing on, even if we can
pull the emergency card and all that good stuff. It's still gonna take several months. So that's all I have. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Tom. All right, next is supervisor's report. I really don't have too much tonight. I will say that our pool is finally fixed. They started putting water in it today. You know, depending on what the weather's like, we're gonna try and open it as soon as possible. Our goal was Memorial Day, but that's this weekend, and I don't think with the water and stuff, it's gonna be ready to go because we need health department approvals. So that's not gonna happen between now and Friday. So we're also doing good on the police barracks. It's getting closer. Should only be about another week or two. We should be done with that. Also, the Memorial Day parade is this week. Lineups at 12:30, step offs at 1. Good thing for the community to go to. You know, all the fire companies come, the ambulance come, the Little Leaguers come. They all, all march that day. So come out and support everybody if you get a chance. And that's about all I really have on that. So we'll move on to the next. There's also memorials that morning. Matt will read them off and the committee reports. Let everybody know where all the little memorials are that day. All right, next, the 2024 abstract number 10 for $125,308.18. Everybody get a chance to look at that?
Yes.
Motion by Peter, second by John. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nope. Okay. The financial reports. Everybody get a chance to look at them?
Yes.
All right. Can I get a motion to accept the financial reports?
Motion to accept the financial report.
Motion by
Second.
John Roofer,
Second.
second by Gary. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Approval of minutes from 5/7/24.
Motion.
Motion by Matt. Second by Tyler. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, to the resolutions. Approve the budget modifications.
Motion.
Motion by Matt. Second by Peter. All in favor?
Aye.
B is termination on 20 Old Rusa Gap. We're gonna keep that hearing open until the next meeting. So then no approval on that. Decision on highway superintendent office for 4 years, subject to a mandatory referendum.
Motion.
Motion by Gary, second by John. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And like I said, come November, it'll probably be on the back of the, the sheet to vote on. So make sure everybody gets out and votes. Next is, public hearing for amendment on property maintenance code for 6/4/24 at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. Nobody will come at 6 a.m. I'm sure you will. So yeah, we're just gonna set up a public hearing for that for June 13th at actually June 4th at 6 p.m. I went to the next line. Motion by Peter, second by John, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Set an opening bid for the tree work for June 13th, 2024 at 2 p.m.
Motion.
Motion by Gary, second by Tyler, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, declare for surplus, the 2006 Jeep, the 2016 Dodge Ram, and the Skag lawnmower zero turn. Motion by John Roofer, second by Matt, all in favor? Approve funds to remain in the HUD account per the accountant.
Motion.
Motion by Gary, second by Peter, all in favor?
Aye.
Approve purchase of the software for the building department. Brittany got back to me, about the final, it's $6,000 for this one software program. So. Yes. Yeah, the other two bids that came in were also not exactly what the building department wanted. It lacked a few things that they already have, so they would like this other one, so. Can I get a motion to accept?
Purchase software for the building department.
Motion by John Roofer, second by Peter. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, committee reports. Yeah. Yeah.
Report from the building department for, March the first to March 31st. Never mind, I think we already read this one.
Yeah, that was at the last meeting.
The same as it was the last time. I'm gonna pass.
Matt, you want to do yours?
Thanks, Mike. Memorial Day events planned for the coming weekend. On Saturday, May 25th, in Mamakating, 9 to 11:15 a.m. The Edward M. Meyer Memorial VFW Post 4947 will hold Memorial Day services at the following cemeteries and or locations. 9 a.m. at the Poplar Grove Cemetery. 9:45 a.m. the monument at the Phillipsburg Community Center. 10:30 a.m. at the Burlingham Cemetery, and 11:15 a.m. at the Pine Hill Cemetery. And Verdana, where is the Pine Hill Cemetery? Is that over by Middletown? Okay, that's in the Winterton, Middletown area. All right, Sunday, May 26th.
Hold on 1 second, Matt. Verdana, isn't that Pine Hill one, isn't that by Ruish Road off of Burlingham Road? Right.
That's Spruce Road, is it?
Yes.
No. Yeah, on Burlingham, Matt. Off, there's a little road, Ruish Road. It's right down in there. Yeah.
Okay, that one didn't ring a bell. That's why I asked you, and thank you for that.
I was thinking that it's, when you said that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I
Thanks for
read
that.
Saturday's events. We're gonna lead to Monday, May 27th at Mamakating. At 9 a.m., the Edward M. Meyer Memorial VFW Post 4947 will hold a dedication and service at the Summitville Firehouse and Monument off of Route 209. They will have also a Memorial Day service at 11 a.m. in the Bloomingburg Cemetery, followed by the Wurtsboro Memorial Day Parade at 1 p.m. For all that are involved in the parade, the lineup starts at 12:30 and the step off is at 1 p.m. sharp. Hope to see everybody down there. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Okay.
Report from the building department, for April 1st through April 30th. There were 4 permits issued for single-family dwellings. There were 37 other permits issued and 14 renewals. Total permits issued were 41. Certificates of occupancy issued were 39. Violation notices issued 69. 61 violations corrected, and there were 7 municipal searches. The department did 55 construction inspections, 10 other investigations, and 3 stop work orders, 9 court appearances, collected all $200 in court fines. April 10th, the building department attended an economic development summit training. So for the month of April, they collected $20,973.25. for a total, year-to-date collection of $119,167.
Anybody else have anything? All right, I will make them, I got two comments. New York class, we're doing pretty well in. As of the end of April, which is the first 4 months a year, we're up to $155,536.50. So, and interest. So New York class is doing pretty well for us. The other thing too is I know, Tom, you might want to mention something about this, about the garbage on Bud Road. We brought it up last month. So the people haven't cleaned it up yet. Sounds like the bears have gotten into it and, got it all over the place. So, the DEC officer has contacted Tom about maybe cleaning it up, right, Tom? No? Oh. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I just want to let everybody know we're working on it. We're working with DEC. They found out who it was. They're being violated. And if we have to clean it up, the DEC officer said, they'll throw it in the fine of how much work we put into it and what we'd have to do to get rid of it. So, we're working with the DEC to get that done. Anybody else have any more announcements, committee meeting? No? All right, we'll move on to public comment. 3 minutes each individual, 30-minute max for any new business. Okay, Brittany, you got anybody online?
I don't.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Brittany.
As it with the cemeteries, I know that they keep changing the names and it makes it a little confusing, okay? Centennial, does anybody know where Centennial Cemetery is? It's Chester A. Stanton. Yeah, that's what they used to call it, okay? It was first known as Centennial and now it's Stanton. I was told, paid, have his name put on the cemetery, and that's how it became Stanton Cemetery. So through the years, different cemeteries get changed as far as their names are concerned. I don't know if the town can do something about that or not, but it's a thought, okay?
Okay.
The other thing is we have plenty of veterans who gave all from the American Revolution and the French and Indian War. Unfortunately, they were usually left to the animals to take off with or buried somewhere in the woods. So therefore, we don't have graves for them. But plenty died from our area when it came to the taking of Fort Montgomery. There were 600 at that fort. 350 of them died. The other 350 were taken down to the city, to the sugar house, and plenty of them died down there. One of the survivors was L. Nathan Sears, who became a town supervisor, a clergyman, you name it. He held every position he could get his hat on, and then died finally going down to Washington to plead for the war vets that were still alive for their benefits. He came back with pneumonia and died 3 days later. He's buried in Stanton Cemetery, other known Centennial. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Rodana. Did you want to talk, Chris?
This, you guys, you could just swallow this a little bit here. This is pretty unusual, I think. This is up in Narrowsburg, where there's been a controversial project for this pavilion, and many people don't want it. It's on their particular area of town. It's been, like I said, it's been going on for a while, so I'll try to minimize this. Here's a resident who has been critical of the project, said it's being driven by the board, not the people. Most people in the Narrowsburg Flats don't want the project moving forward, she said. Supervisor Johnson said the board is obliged to consider the entire town, not just the wants or needs of a small area. I thought that was pretty deep, that how over there's how you don't have to say anything right now. I just thought I'd throw it out for a little public comment maybe. The board has to understand that we serve all the residents of the town of Tustin, and have a park here that's been here for decades and is used by all the residents. I just wonder how over the time, like the most recent thing I could think of is the bottle plant issue. So Mike, it's just something to think about. I thought, no specific answer at the moment, because I think that's pretty deep. How do you not pick on a particular part of the town that has an issue? For example, whatever that issue might be. But here is something here, it says, you're just worrying about the board's issues, not the entirety of the town's issues. And the supervisor says that we treat all of these things as the entirety, because this thing with this pavilion, one of the ladies said that people don't even live here on this road that we live on. We don't want them here, although they're all in the same town. But as I just said, the supervisor says we have to take this in its entirety to come up with something for the entire town, not just one small area. So I thought that was a pretty deep. I just don't know how our town deals with that. As in, thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Brittany didn't have anybody. So, from there, we're gonna go into executive session for legal counsel. So can I get a motion to go into executive? Motion by Peter, second by John Roofer. Now, okay. If you would like to stick around, Jim Post, which is your councilman in the village, would like to meet with the business owners. If you get a chance to stick around, we're only going to be a few minutes in our executive session. So he'd like to sit down and, talk to you. So he would like that. So we have a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Tom, you come with us?
Well, we could overnight, I mean, FedEx.
Yeah, we'll drop them off here.
We're gonna make sure they drop them all off in the town clerk's office. So you're.
Okay.
You thinking a long one, we're just gonna end up spinning our wheels?
Okay, we're back.
Thinking of-
Can I get a motion to come back from the executive session?
Motion.
Motion by Matt, second by John Roofer. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, no action will be taken tonight on that. And I just have one little, the petitions, we're gonna try and get them back here by the 28th, so we can go over them and then send them out by the 30th. We'll overnight them if we have to. Just bring them in to Karen, and then, me, Peter, and Matt will go through them and get them sent out to where they have to go. Peter is also working on a letter that we're gonna send to all the congressmen and senators and everything else that we need to. So, and we encourage everybody to do the same. So there will be something on our website to send. So we'll go from there. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Motion by Tyler,
Second.
second by Matt. All in favor?
Aye.
Have a good Memorial Day, everybody.